Hey guys, it's your girl Andrea Griffin Rogers here with another 1-2 quick punch of a word that God gave me. And today's message is also on the podcast. So go check the link in the description or in the bio so that you can get the full totality of this word. Because I'm going to be real quick, okay? This word is know the season you're in. A lot of people want things, and it's so funny because I was actually talking to God about this, and I was like, God, I got a little problem with some of my church leaders out there. Excuse me. And this isn't just for the church leaders. This is for everybody. But one of the things that I find as I've been walking with the Lord all my life, but I've cultivated a deeper relationship with the Father in these last, I want to say like 10 years. One of the things that I've learned with the Father is that, or rather what I've learned in the church, is that so many church leaders teach what they call prosperity ministry, or they're teaching, about this is your season. Like, just turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, this your season, this your season. You know how it is in church. And one of the things that God has been teaching me in my own journey is not every season is your season. It teaches us in Ecclesiastes 3 that for everything there's a season and a time for everything under the heaven. I don't know what is going on with the lighting, y'all, but y'all bear with me, okay? But God teaches that for everything there is a season and a time. And he also goes back to Genesis and says as well that in the earth there will always be seed time and harvest. So you have to know and understand, identify what season you're in. Just because the pastor and them said this is your season may not be your season, or rather be clear of what season is this. Because so many people get excited and think this is the season of harvest and yay, woohoo, let's get excited about the season of harvest. And I get it. Who wants to go through a season of pain? But that may be your season. You may be in a season of wilderness. And so your season is not the season of harvest right now. You're in the season of time. You're waiting to get to that harvest stage, but you're in the season right now, time. Some of you may be in the season of sowing a seed. And so God gave you the idea, the vision, the relationship, the whatever, and now you have to take that seed and put it in the ground. And so that's the time that you're in. That's the season that you're in. But we have to understand what season we're in before we go around jumping for joy. Because the problem that comes, and I was talking about the church leaders earlier, the problem that comes with church leaders when we do this, we give hope falsely, dare I say. You get people excited and roused up thinking that this is their season for prosperity, and then it doesn't happen. And then what you have occurring is what has been happening in the church now in days, which is people don't want to go back to church. People don't want to go back to church. They don't want to be a part of, the faith. They don't want to hear about Jesus. They feel like they've been there, done it, they tried it, and nothing happened. The problem is that people sowed the wrong seed, so to speak. It's not that it's bad to teach about prosperity. It's about if you don't teach seasons to people, then people are claiming prosperity over their life in the wrong season. It's not that prosperity isn't ours. He has that for all of us. But if you're in the wrong season, then prosperity isn't your season this season. Your prosperity of this season could be God is just gifting you the grace needed to get through this hard season. And so I wanted to address that first before I go any deeper into this message of wherever God's going to lead us, because I want people to understand that when people talk about this is your season, you have to discern for yourself, God, what season is this for me? Because it is a season that you're stepping into as we're stepping into a new year, a close of 2022. So it is a season you're stepping into, but what is this season? Is this my seed time season, God? Is this my time and work season, God? Is this my harvest season, God? What season is this? Is this my tear down season, God? Is this my build up season, God? Is this my time to sow tears, or is this my time to reap a harvest and enjoy? What is the season? That's what you have to discern and determine. And you only get that from the Father. People can't tell you what season you're in because they don't know. So they could tell you all day long and preach to you all day long about this is your prosperous season, but only the Father can tell you what season you're in. You guys hear me talk about often about my Job wilderness season. I understood that was my Job wilderness season, not because I just thought it was cute to just name it after Job in the Bible, but because God revealed that to me, that this was my Job wilderness season. And as you see, I just corrected myself because God has also shown me in this past year that now you're in your transition season, which means you are coming out of your Job wilderness season and you're entering into your promised land season, your ascension season. But we have to identify what season we're in before you go around getting happy and claiming season that you're not in. My single people, you guys have heard me for the last 2 episodes talk about relationships. If this is not your season for relationship, if this is not your season for marriage, it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how much you knock on that door. It doesn't matter how much you want to kick down that door. God has the keys to the door, as it says in Revelations 3 and 7. And so we have to understand that if he is going to open a door, it's because it is our season for that door to be open. Otherwise, that door will stay shut and locked until God says it is time for that door to be open. So you can't get frustrated because you want that season to come. You have to become content where you are and then go to the Father instead of complaining. Ask him, what do you need to learn? Who must you become in order to get into that door, in order to get into that new season you want to be in? Do the work necessary on this level in this season that you're in today. Because the lessons that you're going to learn here will be applied in that next season. But if you don't learn what you need to learn on step A, you cannot possibly think you will sustain on step B. Ask God what season you're in and let him reveal it to you. And I said before, for those of you that's like, well, I don't really know God's voice. That's part of the season you're in. You're in a season of identifying God's voice for yourself. For those of you that don't have a good prayer life, that's the season you're in. Establishing and cultivating a deeper relationship with the Father, which includes your prayer life. Being able to communicate with him and then welcoming and listening for his communication back to you. That's not the season to go and get into a relationship. You can't even communicate with the Father. How you going to communicate with somebody else? Come on now. Guys, it's about accountability. That's what Agents of Revival is all about. Helping you evolve and revive your own life from the broken pieces, from the scattered pieces that you have, into wholeness, into wellness, into strength, into healing, into balance and peace and rest in the Father. But it's about being accountable and doing the work within first. That's what this series is about as well, of know yourself, then love others, as I've been talking about on the podcast. You have to do the work within first. Then you can go out and extend that same love onto others. You can then go out and receive that love from others. But you got to know yourself and love yourself first. Not talking about this little cliche Disney on ice type of love yourself, know yourself type of thing. I'm not selling you something fake or false. I'm selling you things that are kingdom principles, so to speak, to do the work. Because God is love. It's the agape love. And he shows you how to love when you have an established relationship with the Father. Because in that established relationship with the Father, he then shows you how to know yourself and love yourself and set up healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries is not about keeping people out. It's about knowing what you need to stay in your happy, peace, and rested, balanced place, and then telling others so that they understand how to love you back in return. But if you don't know these things for yourself, you cannot expect somebody else to know it. This is why it's important to know the season you're in. And so again, I talk more about this on the podcast. Go check the link in the description on the bio to hear more about it. I'm streaming now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor FM. So go check the link in the description to get more. So may the Lord bless you and keep you, cause his face to shine upon you. May the Lord God be gracious to you, show you his favor, and give you his shalom, give you his peace. Take care, God bless, and tap into the Father to know what season you're in.